time do we have? Got time?
Yeah, we've got like 20 minutes. Yep.
Okay, great.
Make one point though about like you want to be a full service company. The companies on the East Coast, the mold inspection people warn against that and say, you really should have a different person doing the remediation because of course you could, have them say you need stuff. You know what I mean? Like you should split it up. So
I agree.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I agree. So we only test in our environment, and we use outside testing as well. But so we only test in our environment for us. In most instances, the homeowners or business owners, they care about the remediation was done properly, and the post remediation verification testing tells us that. You want to explain how we do that?
Well,
So anyway, when it's necessary, we offer that to everybody. So every customer that we have, we test out, right? And the samples that we take, we photograph, video, all that. They go to chain of custody and they go to the lab. To us, the lab is who's reading the samples and interpreting whether the air quality is good, the surface sample is good. And again, they're just, like I said earlier, a snapshot in time. So one of the reasons that we do both is because we want to know. So our samples are post-remediation evaluation, right? Meaning I want to know that my guys did the job right. And at the end of the day, depending on the work, and this is the majority of work, right? When you pull air samples at the end, it is one, a snapshot in time, right? And it's two, it's a cleaning issue, right? So if you remove the source and remove the mold, that air sample in an environment that's one, isolated, two, is running air filtration, right? That air sample should be good, right? But if the cleaning in that space wasn't fantastic, it might be elevated or amplified based on an outside sample. So again, to me, it's a snapshot in time. So for us, I guess if you deal with the right company, I guess you'd feel better about it. But we offer that to everybody. And a lot of our people say, yes, we'd like a third-party test, and we have it done.
No, but I mean, do you do the remediation? Does your company do the remediation also?
We do, yes.
Okay,
yes.
That's fine. Oh, all right. I see.
Yeah. So, but real quick, so we do the remediation, then we do post-remediation evaluation samples of our own, right? And now we know that the property is good. If they want to do verification, they can contact a third party. We'll provide them one to have them come in and do an additional test. We don't charge them for our evaluation samples. They're for our purposes, for our files, because a lot of people say, we don't want testing. We just want it done. So we test for our purposes. It goes in the file in case in a year I get a call, because we guarantee our work, providing conditions don't reemerge. Moisture, water, condensate, whatever it might be. So at the end of the day, we test everyone, and then they have the ability through our help to hire a third party to come in and test. I have my results, and then if they want theirs, they can do that as well. That's the way we handle it. One of the biggest things that we have to do in our process, which wasn't really taught in school, and we went to Florida for schooling and spent months there because we have an actual license from a state, which is pretty rare. There's 2 or 3 states out of the 50 that have licenses.
Right now, there's 5.
Okay, there's 5 now.
5 actual states that provide a process for becoming and holding a license. And to me personally, if you're trying to find somebody who's qualified to do our kind of work, one of the things that you can do right off the top is to look for somebody that also carries mold pollution liability, errors and admissions insurance. So, if you're a professional, you need to back that up. If you're not qualified to do this kind of work, pretty much how are you going to get an umbrella policy or coverage for $2 million to do that kind of work unless you're qualified?
That's air pollution insurance. What is that?
Mold pollution, liability,
errors and emissions insurance. That's a big deal because it's really expensive.
And then the other thing you should probably look for is, there's a couple of things. So since most states do not have a licensing process, you got to look at the experience of the individual. You've got to look at the terminology, the language. Do they speak the language? Do they understand what condition 1, condition 2, condition 3 is? Are they using the right words? The other thing is, I always recommend, unless you know for sure that a franchised restoration company has a particular specialty in mold, That's not always the best fit for you. Restoration companies were put into the mold business by the insurance companies. That relationship
Is
adversarial to
Between-
the homeowner.
That's right.
If there's not insurance coverage for mold, the restoration
They don't care.
companies ignore it and make it look like it never happened.
Yeah, it's bad.
That's a problem.
We go in a lot of these houses that have had floods, and these guys, just want to throw some dryers and dehumidifiers in and dry drywall, but they don't bother to remove the moldings, right? So if I follow these guys around in 3 months, there's a whole bunch of mold behind that drywall, behind that molding that these people know nothing about, will never know nothing about. So sometimes that odor is an MVOC, which is a microbial volatile organic compound. It's not musty smelling. There's a big difference. When I walk in a house, I know, is there mold or is it just an old house, old basement, was wet long time ago? There's an enormous difference between them. So finding qualified people through insurance is difficult in some instances. A lot of the companies are very big. Now, there are some good ones, but a lot of them are very big. They have lots of turnover. And the people that work in the house aren't that skilled. So the other thing that I was saying earlier that I didn't learn in
So
school,
look for people who hire employees and they carry workers' comp, not just people who hire 1099 subcontractors.
Yeah, that would be a big deal. And people that have been in the business for a while, like us, we're kind of almost like a family business. We've got 5 employees plus Nancy and I, there's 7 of us. And we can produce a lot of work because we're skilled and we do what's necessary, like I said, to achieve the goals of the project. So the other thing that I would say when we, about the testing you said at the end, is we give a perpetual guarantee to people. And that basically says we've resolved it, we're sure of it. And if mold returns anywhere, that will take care of it for you. And
as soon as you experience any kind of a water issue, moisture
you have to call us.
You need to call us right away.
Yeah. But the reason for that is what's equally as important to remove the mold is to identify the source and make repairs or find out what happened. And most remediation companies are solely focused on the remediation. They don't really care what happened. And they're same thing with the insurance companies. They're kind of blowing through the ones that are referred. We take the time to figure out what happened because I need to know that it's not going to come back or happen again, because every time we remove something, it gets put back, So these things are important as well, at the end of the process.
Like we work with builders, new home builders, and they'll have an issue in the basement. And then we go in, we do the remediation. We always put down at the bottom of their treatment plan, be sure to contact us for a prior visual assessment before proceeding with replacing the drywall. It's just part of a extra step in the process that we believe it actually is necessary because, again, conditions. If they haven't changed that condition, the mold's going to come back and we need to be able to deal with it before they put the drywall back.
Right.
Otherwise, they're back to step 1.